Loneliness. That is something that everybody goes through, and some more than others. But in today's world, more and more people are feeling increasingly lonely. And what nobody tells you is that loneliness is just as dangerous to your health as much as smoking and lack of sleep is. Have you ever felt like the weight of loneliness is just too much to carry? Like this feeling that you have nobody by your side. Maybe you've been single for a while and you question your ability to attract another human being. Or maybe you've had friends for a while, but you've always been the filler friend your whole entire life. I've never really been able to shake off this feeling for months now. And it's really been affecting me mentally. And I'm just really tired of it. I'm tired of constantly putting myself out there, trying to meet new people and form new connections in the hopes that, someone would stay in my life. And I'm tired of having this loneliness consume me, and leaving me with this feeling of vulnerability. And honestly, I don't really know how to help myself from it. Recently, I've also lost someone, that's really important in my life. Someone that's always been there for me for months, and even though I didn't truly know it when we were together, but she was the one that filled this empty void inside of me for months. Without that person in your life anymore, it kind of just leaves you really vulnerable to the dangers of the world, because whatever problems you're going through, whatever shit feeling you have, you have to deal with it on your own. There's no one you can talk to about it, and things like that. And that really sucks. The word lonely doesn't sound all that bad. People tend to brush it off as an afterthought because I guess there are worse things in life than just being lonely. But if you actually dig deeper into the effect loneliness has on human beings, it does get pretty dark. Isolation, a sense of being cut from others, even in a crowd. Low self-esteem, feeling unworthy of companionship or love. Emptiness, a void or hollowness that seems impossible to fill. Anxiety, increased worry about social interactions or the future. Depression, persistent sadness and loss of interest in activities. Self-doubt, questioning one's ability to form new connections or make new friends. And hopelessness, feeling that the situation will never improve. And the reason why it's so hard for you to find a cure from it is because the more lonely you feel, the harder it is for you to reach out to someone for help. And I think because of this, loneliness has now become an
epidemic. He said the growing isolation in society poses a health risk as deadly as smoking.
I wanted to say, if so many people are already feeling so alone, then wouldn't everyone crave a connection with another human being? Wouldn't that make it easier to find new friends or make new connections? In theory, that is true, but why do I feel like as humans, we've gotten a lot more picky in the people we choose to accept in our lives? And why do I feel like we've gotten more socially intolerant as a society? Just because someone has a different view or opinion as us, we push them to the side. And if the person talks too much or talks too little and it's a little bit awkward, we kind of just avoid them. I did some research and I realized that because of the presence of the internet, we've all grown to be a little bit more socially intolerable, which makes it even harder to connect with someone. So are we all doomed? Is this our fate where everyone's gonna feel a lot more sad and lonely for the rest of their lives? Honestly, that really does look to be the case. As technology keeps advancing year after year, fighting for our attention and changing our lives, and with things like character AI coming into the picture and further replacing our need for social interaction, it is getting really hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel. So if you're watching this and you are feeling what I'm feeling, you're probably wondering, wouldn't the right answer be to just put yourself out there more, join more clubs, more parties, more social events, more bars, and then eventually you would make more friends, or at least get better at talking to people. From my experience at least, yeah, that definitely works. But then again, luck plays a really big factor into meeting new people. You really have to be at the right place at the right time. Because if I wasn't standing awkwardly at that one corner, and if they decided not to go that day, then we would never have met. And I would be making this video and telling you that putting yourself out there doesn't really work. But yeah, I got really lucky that one time, and it's definitely possible. But is it a guaranteed way to make new friends and form new connections, or maybe even finding a partner by attending these events? It really isn't. I have been to like 6, 7, 8, 9 of these social events, parties, bars, clubs, and I've only came out with one meaningful connection throughout this past 2 to 3 months. However, that is not the hardest part. The hardest part isn't, putting yourself out there and meeting new people. The hardest part, at least for me, is finding the motivation to, dress up and be brave and do my hair and join these events where I'm going to meet new people that I've never seen before in my entire life. The hardest part is finding the motivation and boldness to approach these strangers and talk to them, and trying your best not to come off as a creep or, not to come off as awkward. And the hardest part of it all is finding the motivation to look for events after events after events when you didn't really make any meaningful connections in the last one, and staying hopeful that maybe, just maybe, this will be the one.